Those are many words. I'm your host, RP.
I am a co-host King Mackey.
Hey, I'm Corey H.
Special guest Christopher Wilkins.
Wilkins. How's everybody doing this evening?
Loving life, man. Loving life.
Good to go. Good to go, brothers.
Yes, sir. Wonderful.
Everybody's family doing okay?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll start it off with a little bit of positivity this evening.
Yes, sir. Yes,
A
sir.
little bit of
Spread that word.
positivity.
Spread
You
that
know,
word. Spread that word,
Let's
RP.
hear it. Let's hear it.
greatness. That's right. That's right. I'm gonna give it to them. Greatness is rarely born in comfort. It
Mm.
grows in the moments when you choose discipline over distraction, courage over fear, and purpose over ease. When you feel like quitting, remember that this is exactly where transformation begins. And that is so true.
10-4. Faith,
Absolutely.
dedication, and discipline.
I like that,
Absolutely.
Robert.
I love it.
Absolutely, Ken. All right, tonight is open mic night. Open mic night. Open mic night, we pick five. One, two, three, four, five random questions. Then we have open discussions on them. We are putting them in the chat right now, so we encourage you to take a look at them as we discuss them, and you're absolutely encouraged to have your input as well. We'd love to hear your thoughts and your views on such things. So I believe that said question number two we've already had.
I think
Is
so.
that what it is?
I do remember us
I think
having to
we-
answer a question similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah, it
It's,
was similar, but okay, I'm down.
you want
Y'all gonna
another
switch
one?
it? We can go to another one.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the text and send it to Corey.
All right. All right. All
Okay,
right.
so we go ahead and kick this thing off. So our first question is: could you marry someone of a different religion? Could you marry someone of a different religion?
Ooh.
And so I
Ooh.
will kick this thing
Kick it
off.
off. Kick it off, RP.
And you know, man, and that's a great question. And
Uh-huh.
just hearing that, so I had to instantly think back. Was that something that uh, me and my wife discussed? That's something that we discussed, and I can honestly say that we did not to any in-depth degree. And so, however, going along, we think alike, so we're all the same mind. So that in that regard, has been a blessing. Um, could I do that? Man, especially at the
That's
wedding we
rough.
didn't cover last year.
Yeah.
Because some religions, as we know, cultures, they're very deep. Their faith is strong and it's very
Mhm.
powerful. And so, if you are not of that faith, I could certainly see where the conflict
Conflict.
could begin. And
Yeah.
absolutely, if you have not discussed that from the very beginning, which sitting there thinking like, why didn't I do that? Because it's
Right.
absolutely an important thing. Let
Right.
alone you get, maybe 5 years down the road, you got one or two kids involved, and it's like, well,
Mhm.
I believe in such. Where like, you know what? Well, that's stupid. I believe in such. But
Right.
then it's like, well, now what we gonna do?
Right.
How would you even compromise on such a thing
Right.
like that?
Right.
Very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult.
Oh man.
I mean,
This
in my opinion,
go ahead.
I don't know. I could not. And I mean, you guys gotta have on equal ground. I mean, it does depend on the person. Some people
Mm-hmm.
can do it. I know people that are married and they have different beliefs in religion,
Mhm.
but that requires a different type of person to be able to accomplish that.
Yes.
Right.
Most people would
Right.
not, and also depends on the type of religion you follow as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
and it depends what type of church, especially among the Protestant churches. You got multiple different denominations, and
Mhm.
they all kind of believe something different when it comes around divorce and marriage and religious practices and whatnot. But me personally, I really don't think it would work. Um, if you're planning on raising a family,
Sure.
Right. 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 Corey, you want to go next?
Woo! Do I have a story, gentlemen, for you about the religious things? Okay. Okay. So it started out. I'm like 19. I'm young. We're getting I didn't ask my my ex-wife these important questions because I should have, because her religion was a Jehovah's Witness, and I grew up
Mm,
Christian. So
Mm,
that I didn't know it was going to be a problem until we got married. So we're married now, and against the wishes of the elders, which they tried to let me know, hey, you know what, maybe you should think about that. But we're hard headed young, so we get married, and she, like I said, she's a witness, and I'm a Christian. So our children are born now. Now we have children. So
right.
I was like, you know what, I'm gonna say it like this. You go to my church, I go to your hall, because they believe that their church is called a hall. I'll go to your
Right.
hall,
Right.
and when the kids get older, we'll let them decide. I was cool with that. However,
mm,
she was not. She felt like her religion superseded Christianity, and
Right.
it's all about this. If you really study both of them, it's they're talking about the same thing, just different ways.
that's right.
However, she thought that the witness superseded Christianity. So in my home, I went to church, and I wanted to support her, so I went to the hall. And she was like, "Oh yeah, you're doing good. You're studying. You're going to the hall." But I'm like, "Man, I'm just doing this for the family." However, it did not work out because she wanted to run the household, and me being, I feel like the spiritual leader and the leader, I felt like I felt like I pushed and pulled enough. However, she thought that she could run the household. That created me
Mm,
being the person that I am. It created a hell, because now my children are like 3, 4, 5, and
right.
telling me, "Hey, Daddy, you need to say Jehovah. Why are you
Mm,
wearing earrings?" And I'm like,
Mm,
"Why are you telling me what to do,
mm,
little
oh
child?"
wow.
But
Oh
right.
wow.
that's
Mm,
something that you have to ask. That's definitely number one question that you need to ask. Who's going to budge and who's not going to budge. But I'm like, what Chris is saying. I don't now. I would not do that because it's
That's right.
just not. It
right.
to me personally, it won't work. I feel like I budged a lot, so I
Right.
feel like that's a really important question to have when you get married. So
Right.
that's it, gentlemen. Yeah, it did not work for
Right.
me. So
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. 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 Man, I have to say, I'm not very religious, but I'm very spiritual, so it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. You know, it would. We'll be in trouble. I'd be like Corey. I'd be like, you know what? You and
Right,
your
right,
hall can step down. So.
right, right. Yes, yes.
Oh man.
From when we were studying last year, the origins of religion, some faiths, some faiths, even to this day, some of these some cultures, that is covered, like that is covered
Mhm.
right off the bat.
Right.
If you are
Right,
not part of
right.
that faith, it ain't even nothing to talk about. It just go down the road. So with that being said, it seems like you know I don't know if you want to say Western ideology, that's not so much the deal. Chris had mentioned interdenomination, different faiths. So it's like we don't. It seems to me that it's not a topic of discussion as we have learned and through life experience that it
Hmm.
definitely is important.
Right.
It's a very important question.
Right.
Um, but some faiths or in some cultures, it's that is part of the deal. Like that,
That is true.
that is discussed right off the bat.
Right. Absolutely.
It's definitely something me
Absolutely.
and my wife did talk about. So we were on common ground when we got married, and I think that is very important. And if there's any young couples out here listening to us, definitely have that conversation if you guys decide to tie the knot.
Right.
Not in a hateful way or a mean way, but sit down on common ground and
Hmm.
come to the term is, do you think your love trumps a religious
Mm-hmm.
belief and religious
Mm-hmm.
dogma belief?
Right.
Maybe that conversation will spark you to really look at the religion and maybe a certain church or place that you're following.
Right.
Um, yeah,
Right.
definitely
Yeah.
something to make sure to talk to before you make that decision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you get you get kids involved, and it's a mess. Down the road, it's
Hmm.
something that like in real time, not real time, but I just had that situation where it just exploded, man. It was just like you push and you pull, and then it just you should be on the same common ground. It makes it a
Right.
hell of a lot easier down the road,
Yeah,
Equally
especially when you have
yoked.
kids involved.
Equally yoked.
Yeah,
Equally yoked.
yeah.
equally
There
okay
you
is
go.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do believe. I mean, even though say if someone is married though, and they're already down this path and they've already have kids, they still have a successful marriage, but they want to instill their beliefs in their kids. They need to sit down and have a discussion, and not do that until the kids are become self aware and autonomous of themselves, where they have the ability to choose, and that comes at different ages for different kids.
Sure.
But when the parents sit down, they should both be able to instill their beliefs within their children without a dogmatic view,
Right.
given the proper tools, so where that kid can make their choice. And if that kid does make that choice, um, and it's against the other parent's religion, then they should have that discussion that we should respect our kid's decision as being a self-aware, autonomous human being.
Sure.
Mhm.
That's right.
So the family
That's
doesn't
right.
get ripped apart. I mean, respect goes a
Yeah.
long ways.
Yeah. I'm with
That's
you on
right.
that. I'm with y'all on that.
That's right.
I mean, I'm with y'all. Even like you said, Robert and Corey, even Chris, before even our first date or our first date, we will be discussing those things. No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No
Mm-hmm.
doubt.
Mm-hmm. Though that's a very good, man. That's a powerful question right there. It's
It
just like
is.
something we can truly get into and talk about. Because I want to ask, is it even, not even is it worth it, but if you still decide, if you come to the conclusion that you both believe in something differently. However, as Chris said, does your love trump? You think your love
Hmm.
could survive that? Is it still
Right.
worth the chance and taking? Because that's something that has been you were raised with from a childhood, and those things are not easy to just change. And just
Hmm.
like just like that, for the sake of somebody else, to keep pushing forward. So then,
Right.
is it worth it? Is it worth to? Can you truly do that? And if not, what about the resentment that tends to build up in those situations
True.
along the way?
True.
That you don't display because you're trying to do it for the family.
Right.
It's just all those type of things. But
Yeah.
that's a great
Yeah.
question. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Okay, so instead of question number two, we're just going to question number two because I added another one and Corey graciously posted it in there for us. Okay, so question number two: what legacy
Ah,
do you want to leave? I like that.
I do
Right
too.
on. Right on.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. What legacy do you want to leave? Um, Chris, what you got? What you got, Chris? What did?
Oh,
Damn.
legacy. That's a big question. Heavy
It is.
question, really.
It is.
Not something you can just really pop off the dome with. But in all reality, the legacy I want to leave behind is not necessarily an image of myself, but I definitely want to leave behind an image of Christ, um, and a I want to leave behind an image of love and charity, and that I did my best to help people that I could when I
Hmm.
had the opportunity to lend a hand. I did. That's what I want to leave behind.
Hmm.
I'm not really big on leaving behind a big name and hey, this is what I did. More so is what impact and what seeds that I leave behind, once this physical body has left this planet, and
Right.
if those seeds are going to produce fruit in the future.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Um, I guess I'm gonna go with that one. So I mean, you know, compassion. You know what I mean? And even going off of what Chris said, I want to leave a legacy of compassion. I've joked before about statues and this and this and this, but I feel like compassion goes a long way. And that's something that we currently need in our everyday lives. You know what I mean? And if you consider a compassion person, meaning that I actually put my personal agenda behind somebody else's, um, I mean, I feel like that'll stick and it goes a long way. It goes a long way. So compassion would be a legacy that I want to leave behind for others to understand and pick up and gather.
And I'll just piggyback off of the both of you two gentlemen because I'm in agreement with all those things. And it's not about so much as being grandiose and leaving big things and buildings and things like that, but the love and compassion
Hmm.
and how that has spilled over into all those that I have met and have touched, especially my wife and my children. When they speak and how they raise their kids, does that spill over to them? So certainly, I'm in agreement with both of you. The love and compassion and the will to never give up, to keep pushing
Mhm.
and to
Mhm.
always do better, um, to help those who need it,
Right.
and
Right.
to also learn that even though you are on this earth, in reality, it's not about you. It's about what you can do for others
Mhm.
and help them along the way. So that's
Right.
definitely what I would like to leave behind.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's very good, Robert. Very good, Haru and Chris. I would like to leave behind resilience. I'm real big on coming
Mhm.
back, bouncing back, and want to show my daughters, but my sons more or less. I want to show them that you're gonna bump your head. Daddy got permanent knots. You know what I'm saying, from bumping my head, and I just want to show them. What I'm saying, like as a man,
That's
as
right.
young men,
Yeah.
to come back, man, and bounce back and shake the dust off your feet and
That's
keep
right.
on going because
Mhm.
I used to have role models and stuff like Michael Jordan, unrealistically. But when my father had passed away, I found myself at 40 years old saying, "Damn, man, people said some really good things about my father." So I want to be like him. You know what I'm saying? Because he was upright, and I want to leave the same legacy to my sons as well as
Mhm.
men.
Right.
And for my
Right.
daughter and for my daughters to for the new me, not the old me, to
Right.
show them how a man is supposed to treat women and how
Mhm.
a man is supposed to be. So my inner circle is who I want to leave that kind of legacy behind. That daddy messed up, but
Yeah.
daddy showed it come back too. Yeah,
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that's
that's all I got.
great right there, brother. And that resiliency and that them permanent knots. That's
Mhm.
and showing your
Yeah,
children, you get knocked down, but
Yeah.
what do you do when you get knocked down? Do you lay
Yeah.
down or
right.
do you get up? Because listen, as we know, we've got years on this earth, so we have some wisdom in that
Mhm.
regard. And life is hard. It just depends on which
Yeah.
poison or whatever road you're going to take, However, but you're dead on with that, Corey. You're dead on with
Mhm.
that, man.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
Okay.
Number
Oh,
three.
question number three.
What's question number
Woo,
three? What's
Sexual
woo.
performance.
oh shit.
Mm.
What do you do to keep it spicy? Spicy in the bedroom. What do you do?
Woo.
Mhm.
There's the question,
Okay.
bro.
Okay.
Y'all see, there's the question right there.
Ah, I like that, Corey. I like that.
I do too. That's a great job, brother. I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Sexual performance. What do you do to keep it spicy in the bedroom? King Mackey,
Woo,
come
Haru.
on with it.
Bro, it's the question is what I don't do. I do it all.
That's right.
I do
Oh
That's
as much
right.
as
man.
I can. You
That's
know.
right.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I love it between our wife and I. From the time we get up, it becomes it's a foreplay where we walk by each other in the house, we touch, we look. If I go, do some work, I would say, I text her, hey, I miss you, I'm thinking about you, because it's like every part of my day reminds me of her. You know what I mean? So it's just easy to, to kind of sit back and be like, hey, what you doing? Hey, what you wearing? You know what I mean? Hey, like for instance, like tonight, we got a date night. We do date night. Like we actually
Yeah,
make a scene. We actually set up a
yeah.
bar scene like we're going to a business meeting. And we
I
actually I
like it.
wear slacks and she wears
I
and
like
we
it.
actually go
Right.
through. And
Hey.
you know what? I'm gonna tell you this too, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all brothers this too. We have fixed a lot of our own BS through the role playing because through the role
Yeah,
playing, we have kind of forgotten who we are and we played this role. So
right,
she speaks to me as
right.
I am somebody else. And I speak to
Mhm.
her and we
Yeah,
look up and we be like, man, our whole situation can turn around. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And turn around. But collectively, we got 6 kids. And every month I'm wondering if there's a seventh popping up, just so y'all know.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Y'all better stop before I get in trouble. Let me stop.
you
Woo,
know, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, Robert. No, go ahead.
For us, it's um, it's been it's been a road for sure. As we got a big family. We got 4 kids at the house, so I know there's the saying that you make the time to do that, and we try our best. I will say it is hard sometimes. It is hard because there's 4 little ones and much is required with 4 kids. I know some people can push through and do that thing. However, both people have to be on the same page with that. I love my wife, and I tell you, hey, I'll speak from, I'm 56, but I know I look 25, and I tell you
There you
that,
go.
hey,
There you go.
I tell you, I stay in the gym. I keep myself in shape, and I tell you,
Right.
Big Cat is hot. I'm always, you know what I mean? It's like that drive. I know I look at some other gentlemen at my age, and I look at their condition. I know I've
Right.
talked to them and this and that and the other.
Right.
About well, you wait till you get such and such and such, and they're gonna be the same. And it's
No.
like I don't even know what you're talking about because
Right.
as far as I
Right,
can see in the
right,
future,
right.
when I'm taking my last
Right.
breath, it's gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
Right.
but Spice, what Haru just said, that's something that I would definitely like to implement into our bedroom, as so to speak, because I've seen and I've read about role playing and how powerful that can be, and it's something that we surely need to work on. Absolutely need to work on. But I love that, man, and I love that.
Yeah. Man, keeping it saucy is something that we do. You know what I'm saying? Like the Jello pudding, like Bill Cosby. Man, we keep it. I'm just saying we keep it saucy, man. I'm gonna tell you, my wife and I, we were both previously married, and we knew each other before, but once we actually got together like years later, we've been together 14 years, and this has been the only person that's kept my attention in the bedroom and out the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Like the only,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
no blemishes, no the same woman for 14 years, and I absolutely we keep it saucy, man. We like Haru said, the role play, we do, yeah, and it's important that we keep it saucy because we keep it so saucy, like I'm allowed to, with the confines of our bedroom and
They eat
responsibility,
sauce.
I can do, I can do, you know what I'm saying? I can do whatever I want to do, right?
Right.
Right.
But also that comes with she's like, we can do whatever, but but that whatever is, hey, I got to be real careful on what whatever is. So we like to keep it interesting, man.
Right.
Right.
We like it's just cool, man. I love my wife and I love our intimacy. We're both veterans in the bedroom, and we both and it's always
Veterans.
important. I keep her.
Veterans.
Seriously, I keep her, I keep her first, her needs first.
Right.
Always
Right.
keep her first and put her first. You know what I'm saying? That's really important, gentlemen, listeners. If you're out there, keep the woman first, and then you take heed afterwards. So,
Yeah.
man, I love our
That's what's up.
like the black. I mean, like not the black magic, but the sexual magic, the books and stuff. Haru been talking about. The Karma Sutra, everything. You know what I'm saying? To keep each other interested, man. That way
Right.
That's right.
you don't need to go outside anywhere. If you two
Right.
are both on the same, I want to please my husband, I want to please my
Right.
wife. Okay, so we
Right.
got that understanding. Now let's keep it saucy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
That's right.
whether that's clothes or whether that's dates,
That's
you
right.
gotta keep it good. Yeah, that's all I got, gents.
Yeah, man. I think when it comes when it comes to that is the biggest part is you got to have communication between each other. Listen to each other and what each other wants and desires are. Implement those things, and um, I think really the most important thing is to know what each other finds attractive, and communicate that to each other. Another important thing is in my opinion, it's really important to maintain physical health. If you maintain your physical health, and that's going to aid your performance. If you can't perform in the bedroom, you're not going to have much fun. And you kind of have to be fit to have a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
And
True.
I know a lot of guys that become, they married for 10 years or they're middle aged, and they're telling me that they're not having sex with their wives, and their wives don't want to have sex with them. And the biggest part of that is the men ain't confident in yourself, and they're saying their wife doesn't act like they're attracted to them.
Right.
Well, I mean, are you attracted to yourself? You look yourself in the mirror. Is that something you'd be
True.
attracted to? Ask yourself that question.
True.
And if the
Yes,
question's
Right.
no, then
Right.
maybe you should fix yourself.
that's true.
Right.
So you can have that for your wife, and that goes both ways for the husband and the wife.
Mhm.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's important to keep it spicy in the bedroom. I think it's important to please each other, and I think it's important to keep that private. Uh, I know everyone may practice different things, but in my opinion, I think your sexual life between a husband and a wife should be kept private between them. There's no reason for
That's true.
what you do in the bedroom to be discussed with anyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
I will kind of tell my I don't go into details, but but I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
important because you know
Right.
what, as we've learned through our reading, the church, the ancient church itself, and then even the modern church has really taken that out the equation. Even though we understand to procreate, but to bring up sex and to bring that up, in groups or around other people, it's like a cuss word. You know what I mean? And it really is, and it's something that should be talked about. And like you said, Chris, I've met a lot of gentlemen and women and wives and couples in general that they don't. I matter of fact, I was doing security bike week, and a young lady walks up to me and has a conversation with me, and somehow she gets on sex and says she hadn't had sex with her husband in 25 years.
Wow.
I told my wife knows if you go 5 hours, we have a problem. We got a problem. You
Woo,
know,
25 years.
25
Woo.
That's insane.
in her point of view, I understood it. But you know what? Like Chris has mentioned, even having sex has health benefits. It has health
Absolutely.
benefits. And so if
Yeah.
you eliminate that completely out your life, I wonder where do you stand when it comes to your health? You know what I mean? But I'll
Mhm.
tell you this, a lot of my guys who work for me, for some reason, they understand my red light. My red light is on in my house. You do not call me. You do not ring the doorbell. I digress.
Oh wow.
Well,
That's that's real.
that's a part of being a that sexual prowess is a natural raw energy.
True.
It is 25 years.
Yeah.
There's got to be something internally going on. I'm just assuming because that's energy left unchecked leads
Right.
to terrible things.
True.
25 years, my
Hmm.
goodness
Hmm.
gracious.
Hmm.
It is something that, and you're right too about how it has become such a taboo subject to even talk
Right.
about when
Right.
it absolutely should be talked about. And then you talk about family and your children. I'm open, but we ain't got there yet to some degree, but
Hmm.
I don't hold no punches with that because that is important. I'd rather hear from
Right.
me than from on the streets first, and
Right.
then for me it's
Yeah.
late then. It's too late
Right.
then.
Yeah. 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 And I even think Chris even mentioned just love, but I love the way I look. Physically,
Mhm.
if I didn't have to wear clothes, I wouldn't wear clothes. But it's unfortunately it's against the law. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I to Chris's point, I think that's a valid thing. That's valid. You know what I mean? You
That
need
is.
to love
That is.
yourself. And if you don't,
Absolutely.
then again, you're not gonna be as confident, and that's gonna
That's
show
right.
regardless. And your wife is gonna know that. She knows you in it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I really
Right.
feel like too, I've talked to men that have the dysfunction, erectile dysfunction. And I really don't believe in it because I believe it's more mental. I had a homeboy particularly, he's not married, and he called me. He was like, "Hey man, I had this, female over and we did our thing, and in 10 minutes she wanted to go again, but you know me, bro, like I was ready, but I wasn't ready." And so it played in his head. He was like, "Bro, man, hey, I need to get this, I need to get that." I said, "Bro, don't let it get in your head." You know what I mean? It happens. It happens. Don't let age bother you. Don't let society bother you, because I think society plays a role in that too, where we need these particular pills and need this particular, these supplements to enhance us, which we already have that ability if you can only change this. And then, like Chris
That's right.
said, possibly change your physical nature as well too.
That's
That's
right.
right.
So
That's
That's
right.
right.
I mean, I
We
think
know.
sexual performance is if you have erectile dysfunction, most of the time for most men, especially in America, when we know the statistics, we have a
mhm.
lot of people with type 2 diabetes. We got a lot of
True.
people that are obese, a lot of people that sit
Yep.
in a chair and play video games, and
Yep.
they're proud that they're gamers
Woo.
and they wonder why their stuff don't work.
Woo.
Right.
I
Yes.
mean, cardiovascular health is super important to be able to
Hmm.
maintain an erection.
Right.
That's right.
I mean, just if you don't use your body,
Right.
the body's not going to be able to perform.
Right.
And
Right.
That's
I
right.
mean, we have a problem in Western society with that. And yeah, and also when guys don't work out and they're not physically fit, that their
Mhm.
testosterone goes down.
It
When the
does.
body's not
Man,
challenged, when a man's body is not challenged,
Right.
it's not going
that is the
to
truth.
it's not going to have a stimulus to create testosterone.
Right.
And then
That's right.
we're under a systemic it's an epidemic in my opinion,
Mhm.
really,
Mhm.
among men today, with the compounding effects of the food and
Oh,
lifestyle,
goodness.
and then you get
Yeah.
a depression, and it's just like a snowball effect.
Right.
A lot of guys can't pull out of it. And really the biggest thing for a man is you just need to start accomplishing something.
Right. Yes.
You
I do
complete a
agree.
task, and
Mhm.
I promise you, the next one's going to be easier, and it's going to
Right.
that's a snowball effect, and you can reverse
Yes.
it.
Yes.
But you got to take the
Yes.
first step and do it.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's huge.
You know, I was going to speak on to what Chris just said. He is dead on with that.
Mhm.
Dead on with that. And so what you spoke on too, Haru, you know, with the what it's all in your mind, you know, and it's hard because every TV, every media outlet, you
Mhm.
got a remedy for this,
Mhm.
this, and this. But
Mhm.
also with those remedies, you got side effects of this,
Sure
and this.
do.
So it's just a chain ball effect, and that does mess up with your mind. Instead of you
Right.
getting outside of that and knowing that if you get this right, to add
Mhm.
to everything Chris just said, you
Mhm.
got it. You got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I'm
I,
so glad that we're talking about this too. So we can apply it in our personal lives, because as we hold each other accountable on this platform, and it's just good though, man. And it's you have to work out and get a regimen. We don't stay 20 forever. So I mean, if you listen to the examples of what I'm saying, of Haru and Chris and Robert, man, they work out. I promise you, these gentlemen work out all the time. So it's important. If you don't
mhm.
work out, man, you will lose it, man. You will lose
You
it.
will.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. 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 And one more thing with Chris. I know we're taking a long, he said something about challenging, and me and my wife were just talking about that today. Because that's one thing I do. We run a business in the summer. In the winter, it gets slow for us. And so, I'm at home a whole lot, but I always look to challenge myself, whether I go, you know, um, when I did police academy, or I went to the fire department and started volunteering. I constantly kept doing things, or become, a lodge brother. I constantly kept doing things to challenge myself, because I realized that I'm like a shark. If I stop moving, I'm going to drown. But as long as I keep moving and keep moving forward, it just invigorates me. It
Mhm.
just invigorates me, and it feels so good. Even me coming back, I hadn't worked out in 13 years prior to me coming back to the gym in January, and I go to Chris's gym in Camden, and I hadn't worked out in 13 years, and so I'm not gonna say my sex drive was depleted, but I noticed the difference in my and in my vigor within myself when I started working out again. Hell, my wife
right,
did too. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just an excitement that comes with that, and then again with blood flow, because now I'm more active. You know what I mean? And
right.
what I'm doing, I goddamn love it. I
Mhm.
Yeah,
recommend every man in America should be doing some type of body squat, should be working out
right, right,
and doing something, staying active on
right.
a daily basis.
Mhm.
I encourage that.
Oh
and,
yes.
and not just half-ass doing it,
No,
pushing yourself,
pushing
challenging, as you
yourself.
just said,
Yes,
to
mental.
push
Yeah,
yourself,
Yes,
to push
yes.
yourself.
Yeah, because even when
Train.
you have sex, it's mental.
Yes,
I'm bad,
absolutely.
hey,
Yeah.
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
goes through every
yeah, yeah.
guy's mind, man. It
Hey,
goes
it
That's
through every
sure
right.
guy's
That's
does.
mind.
right.
Hey, you talking to yourself, or
free,
you
That's
talking
right.
to her?
free,
That's
Yeah.
right.
I know you like
free,
this thing, girl. I mean, hey, whatever it
That's right.
is.
That's right. That's right. That's
free.
right, brother.
Put some
Oh, you
years
gotta
up,
move on.
man.
Right.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's good. That's live.
Right
That's
on,
raw.
right
I
on.
like that.
Oh man,
Yeah.
great question. Love the insight. Love the insight.
Yes,
That's
yes.
beautiful stuff right there. Okay.
And to one last thing to end that with, in my experience, sex has gotten exponentially better being with one person for a long period of time.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
that's a
God.
true
Yes.
man. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. That's a
Yes.
true man. Yeah,
Facts.
yeah.
That's facts. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I want to ask a question, but
Go
I
ahead.
won't.
Go ahead.
So let me ask y'all this, right? This is a conversation me and my wife have. So, do you guys believe in polygamy?
No.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Oh,
You know,
man.
Well,
man.
can I
that's-
expand on that
that's-
real quick?
Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, Chris.
So in my opinion, I'm not saying mine is right. It's just my opinion.
Mhm.
And for me personally, in my relationship with my wife, sex is very personal. And to me, it's a spiritual thing. And the more you do it, I grow. I think I grow more spiritually with my wife. It doesn't even have to be the act of sex, but just being intimate in that way with my wife.
Right. Right.
And growing spiritually. And I know for me, if that builds trust with me with my wife. And in the past, I've been a person that's been affected by a lot of people betraying me. So trust was very hard for me to start trusting my wife. To being a person I can actually trust with everything and anything. And that didn't happen with my wife the first year we got married, second year or third year, or fourth year we've been together. It took a while for me to get to that point with her. And now that I am, and that's part of that was because of sex between me and her exclusively. And it allowed me and myself to become courageous as a man, to be able to have the ability to do risks and take certain risks for our family. And it really does come down to that. I know it may not be for every man, but for me it was, and that's why if we ever strayed from that, it would break apart that spiritual connection I have.
Okay. Okay.
That's good.
Guess we're gonna leave that. We can move past that one. I just want to throw that one out there.
I want to say something on that too, because and piggyback off what Chris is saying, and I agree with him. It isn't just about the physical act of sex that is a part of it, but it's also for me the touching and the feeling, and it is on a spiritual level, and it also too, to be with that one person, you do build that trust. Everything, you all in with that one person. To look outside of that and to do something outside of that, but then you've given a piece of yourself away from your wife or whoever that may be. You made another deposit somewhere else, so that's a chink gone. So, and you've done that. You've also taken a part of this way, the mentality of that away as well too. So to do that, I'm in agreement with Chris on that. It's like it's a very special thing, and oh man, it's a crazy thing. Let's go to the next question.
Okay.
That's a great question, though. Did you want to say something on it, Corey? You were going to say something?
No, it's good. No, it's good. We could we could go on. That's a whole nother 10, 15 minutes, man. So I agree. It's just but it's very important for me to keep. I'm so glad that I have someone that's been my ride or die for 14 years, and
Absolutely.
we've experienced. Only as before we got together, we were probably wild. But when we got together, we are number one, have been number one. So it is very beautiful to share that experience with
Sure.
one person, and I love that. I love that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce. All right.
I'll throw my 2
Question.
cents real quick. Can I throw my 2
Go ahead,
cents
bro.
real
I
quick?
want to hear
Yes,
it.
sir.
I want to
Yes,
hear
sir.
it.
So I'm gonna go with. Let me do my disclaimer first, because I know my wife's listening. No, from the get go, my wife and I, we feel like that we've known each other in past lives. We even when we first met, we felt like that there was something we already knew about each other. And so when it came to what Chris was talking about, like trust and compassion and love, like we felt like that was already there. You know what I mean? And but I do believe that um the monogamous relationship is something more westernized. I do believe that when we start looking more into our books and we start looking into like ancient African kingdoms like we are, and beyond, or that polygamy, I believe it's okay. And for some, for me and my wife, it's not. Like, that's not something that I want to be a part of. And I think the Western world has put that into a box where we feel like we lose something, but it just depends. To me, it's always based upon your intentions. You know what I mean? So I've read some books on ancient Egyptians and when they believe in polygamy, and they used, not necessarily used, but they were mated with somebody to manifest things into the world. Do you know what I mean? And so again, I believe it's based upon intentions. With me, I'm happy where I'm at. We're strong in what we do. Plus, my wife has all the passwords and all the bank accounts, so it wouldn't make sense about any goddamn way.
Right. Right.
Let's go. Let's move on, y'all. Let's move on. I get myself in trouble.
All right, Kings. Question number 4. Technology and how it has changed family and society. Technology, how it has changed family and society. What you got? What you got, Corey?
Um. Okay. So technology and how it changed. Technology is good. You know what I'm saying? Technology is good. I believe. Oh, sorry about that. I believe. Okay. So technology is good in a way. I do believe it is made a lot of us a little bit too much relying on it, man. Um, if something happened, like if something happened, I mean, heaven forbid that we get slammed with all the, like we start getting under attack and we lose communication and stuff. How are we gonna function? You know what I'm saying? How are we gonna get message? I mean, how are we gonna really talk to each other? I like the old school landlines. Uh, um, it just I think that there has to be a healthy boundary on like how much screen time that you like screen times that the kids have and how much screen time that we have because we can get sucked into this take these phones and stuff, man. And, you go into some places and stuff and like where I work, our dispatcher sometimes dispatcher, I'm looking at the orders and stuff and I can't we have no face-to-face contact or just normal interactions. There is no more normal interaction. You go into Starbucks or anywhere and people are looking at the damn phones and it's just something, man. I think it's I don't really too much care for too much technology. Yes, all the AI stuff is good. Yes, it's easier. Yeah, some of the the cars and everything is all cool and easier, but really I think that it's really it's in the beholder, and I think that you should definitely set boundaries and healthy boundaries, especially when it comes to your family. You don't want I've seen some places and walk some people's houses and their kids are they're looking at their phones, you know what I'm saying, looking at their phones and they're not paying, they're just not paying attention. I think that it's important to like in our house, we don't do the phone thing. As soon as I get off, line, I'm pretty much done with the phone thing, and I think that that's important, man. But the answer to the question is, I think that it's kind of bad. I really truly think that all this technology is bad. I think that if something were to happen, I think that I should be able to get a contact with you guys or something. I find some way to get a hold to get a hold of you. But that's the answer to your question. I think technology is kind of good, kind of bad.
I think technology is awesome and it is amazing. And to add on to what Corey said, I agree with his point. There needs to be a healthy dose of how that is interacted within your household. As you say, going out to certain spots, restaurants or Starbucks, whatever that may be, even at the gym. People sitting on these machines just glued to their phone, not even aware of paying attention, of their surroundings and what's going on, not even aware of what's happening. And in our household, we do monitor the kids, with their technology. Listen, because it's going to be a part of their lives, as it is going to be a part of ours. So they need to have some knowledge, if not a great deal of it, to how that's going to interact. And you know, I was along the same lines. The landlines, I do believe in that as far as, accepting technology. There was that pushback from me. However, I have digressed. I see that from what I want to do in the future, that technology is absolutely a part of that. And so to continue to push back on that it will be a problem. Because I do not, for those who, I don't know. There could be a chance for those who do push back may be left behind, so to speak, because technology is coming that way. And, there needs to be a healthy balance for that, for sure.
Chris, you want to go?
Yeah, man. So I think technology is phenomenal. I really love technology. Now, in the past, this is an opinion that I have changed in recent years. You know, before I was not a fan of technology. That's because I was kind of ignorant to it, didn't really understand how to use it, and I was kind of still stuck in a few dogmatic ways of how I was raised as a kid.
Mhm.
And now that I understand what it is, one of the benefits my mother did for me as a kid, even though I hated it, I understand now is I wasn't raised with TV or any type of electronics in our household, and that definitely played a big role in how I developed as a child. And so when I see technology, I see it as a tool. And I think I don't think there's a problem with technology. I think the problem with it is how it was introduced to our society and how it was um, displayed for us to use and how we should use it. And a lot of people in today's world that use the technology really don't understand it, including myself. And I'm in the process of, I'm learning, I'm in the process of learning that. And we don't really respect technology. And so parents, they like to blame the technology while they're using on the kids. And a lot of people like to do that instead of understanding what the technology is, respect it, and then be able to utilize it in a way that helps humanity and society.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it has changed our family and has changed how we operate today. And in some families, it's for the better, and some families for the worse. And it really is up to the person that's using it.
Yeah. Yeah. um, hmm. So I want to give this quote by Albert Einstein. He says, "I know not with what happens with World War III or how World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones." Um, and so I'm with all of you guys. I think it's a balance. And like Corey, RP, and Chris said, um, I think it makes things a little quicker, and when we think about technology, you think about maybe like the pick fork or the pickaxe, when people were dealing with the railroad, but then now we have certain technology which makes that a lot quicker. You know what I mean? So it's always, to me, it's about the intentions. So if things can make things a little quicker and we can build houses now in 6 months versus a year, if we're able to use it to again help cure cancer and different diseases out there, then which we won't even get into that conversation like we did last time. But I feel like it's worth it, right? But again, I was against technology for a while. That's why me and my wife lived off the grid. I had a flip phone at that particular time. I wanted to get away from everything. And so when I was able to create that balance and when I came full fledged back into society, I feel like I had more control over technology itself. But I do believe that we're the most technological beings in this world, regardless of what we think a computer can do. Because when you start studying the mind versus a server or a particular, algorithm or a particular, computer, it always states that our brain can compute more information, and remember, more information than the largest computer in the world. So I'm always going to look to rely on myself and use technology as a secondary.
Right.
Right on.
That's a great answer, brother. Great
That's
answer.
good.
When I've had to push back about technology, when I always thought of the overuse of it. The movie, I don't know if you've seen this movie before, but Wally is a Disney movie, and how everybody has been
Hey.
chauffeured around on those little
Hmm.
sleds with the computer
Yep.
screen right there,
Yep.
and they're just all
Yep.
fat and
Yeah.
happy, and not even till they realize that they were unglued from the thing. That it always pops into my
Hmm.
mind.
That's a good one because everybody was overweight. Everybody was
That's
obese.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
rolling around.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and that's where we're headed. To be honest with
Yeah.
you, I mean that's where
Mhm.
we're
That's where we
headed.
are. I think that's where we
And
are.
I
That's where
do
we are.
agree. I do. I
Yeah.
mean, Amazon's
Yeah.
supposed to be, they're supposed to be putting out, um, you know, re- uh, using computer to replace people. So are hospitals. You know what I mean? Even a hospital here in Missouri, I've been around where they have a sector already where they're doing some construction where they're bringing in certain machines to do certain things, and so it's going to start to eliminate people. So like I said, we always have to constantly keep upgrading ourselves in order to be in the midst of this
Right.
society,
That's a
Right.
good point.
to
Yeah.
you know over succeed over this technology. And again, like I said, I think it's going to come to a point where we're going to be in a Terminator mindset. We're going to be dealing with some Terminator stuff.
Right.
I think it's just really, it really depends on how it's used. It's just technology. It's just like an axe. An axe can be a tool for cutting wood and building a home for a family, or it can be used to cut their hands off and cut their heads off.
Right.
I mean, it just all depends on how you use a tool. The tool itself is, just like the argument with guns. It's all on how you use the tool. And we didn't have technology. I mean, think about what we're doing right now. We are all live, miles and states apart, talking, sharing information to other people. So this is a good, useful way of this technology, right?
True. Yes.
Right. That's true.
So it's really in all the, like, goes back to what Mackie said, the intent, and then also respecting and learning the technology so you're not ignorant to it.
True.
Because that's where fear resides when it comes to technology, and all things is ignorance of that thing you fear.
Right.
Once you are no longer ignorant to it, that fear goes away.
Right. I do agree.
That's right.
I do agree. That's what brought me back, because I realized that now I have two younger, babies coming into this world. They're going to be using technology. So why be ignorant of it? Let me go and educate myself. So when they do ask or when they get involved with it, at least I would know.
And we all have kids right now, right? Young kids.
Yeah.
And what are those kids going to be in the future?
Right.
That's out the future of the world is our children. And technology is part of that future. And so we do have to find a balance on teaching our youngins how to use the technology appropriately. And so when the new generation goes out to the world, maybe technology is used in a better way and we can see the benefits of that. But that's seeds that we have to plant in our children before they grow into their own.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Facts.
Okay. Question number 5. Question number 5. Fatherhood. Why is fatherhood essential to a healthy society? And why do you think strong fatherhood appears to be declining in America today? That's a powerful question, and there's so many tenets to that question. For me, this seems to be. What came to my mind instantly, when we were studying the origins of religions, and we learned from the very beginning it was about fatherhood. It was matriarchal. It was about the woman and what she brought. That changed through the course of time. Fatherhood took over. So with that being said, I don't know. It is important. It is important in the family structure because it has been made that way today. The father is the leader, and for good, strong, healthy children, and all that. That's a tough one for me. I don't really know how to answer it because I say there's so many ways that could go for me. There's so many tenets to that question.
I think that fatherhood is very essential to a healthy society. I feel like now we live in personally from what I've seen, the real men are this is coming from some talks that I've had with some women. Men have been real men have been pushed into the closet. Now this is, like I said, this is just from what I've been having these conversations about. But I do feel like fatherhood is important. I feel like it takes a mother and a father to healthily raise children, because I believe in that old school. The old school way is women nurturing the children, and then I believe that men raise men. I personally don't believe that a mother could really tell a little boy about fatherhood. I believe it takes a father to show the son how to do certain things. I believe that I can't say if it's declining in America because I'm I'm worried about my own kind of personal journey with fatherhood with my children and with my adult children and then with my younger children. So I'm not sure if it's declining. I do know that, and it just depends on what's going on in your personal journey, if it's declining or not. I can't really say for all of America, but I have to look at the statistics on that. But I believe that personally, I do believe that fatherhood is essential. Men holding each other accountable. Men keeping men accountable. You know what I mean to for society. So that's all I got on that one right now, gents.
Yes, sir.
I mean, yeah, fatherhood is definitely essential to society. But at the same time, motherhood is equally as important to society as well. And I'm under the personal belief that the masculine exists to protect the feminine. And that doesn't mean to rule and conquer at all, but that means to protect something that's soft and beautiful and that provides nurture. Um, but fatherhood is declining in America. I see it, and one of the prime reasons for that is testosterone. For one, men's testosterone levels are going very down. They're very low, and there's even some kids that um, have to get testosterone injections to so their body can
Yes.
actually finish puberty because their body's not producing enough to
Yeah.
get them through puberty.
Wow.
Yeah.
And hormones
Wow.
really play a role in a lot in how you feel. That's not the only thing, but it's also how our society, with technology, how our society is using the current technology given to us. And it's made us very lazy and very complacent and more ignorant than we used to be, in my opinion. Um, and men are not strong anymore because they don't really get up and do anything. Um, now, I do see some young men. It's coming more common in the area I live in. I do see a lot of young men starting to um, actually do things, actually want to learn a trade, want to learn how to work, build themselves, coming to the gym, working out, learning that discipline. Um, but it's up to us guys that right now that those guys are looking up to. We need to give them something to look up to.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So I'm gonna come a totally different way on this one. So I believe our society realized the importance of fatherhood a long time ago, and I'm going to say during the Jim Crow era. Okay, the Jim Crow wasn't about just separation and equal, but it was about control, economic, society, and generational kind of scarcity. The scarcity, meaning that when you weaken the father, you weaken the family. When you weaken the family, you weaken the future. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And so through Jim Crow, through the slavery concept of Jim Crow, they realized that if you could beat, embarrass, and humiliate the father, you then have control of the mother and the son. Even in society to this day, when you look at what we kind of talked about, government assistance, you can
Mm.
simply say, Father, get away from me. I'm going to tear my son away from you. I don't want you anymore because you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing this. I'm going to come over here to this systematic system and I'm going to get free food. I'm going to get free health care. I'm going to get these free items. So again, through the Jim Crow of our society or our system, it knows how important fatherhood is. And yet again, it's a psychological thing to take away that protector and to take away that strength and to leave that mother and child alone in the darkness. So I think fatherhood is something necessary, but I do believe through these experiments in the Western world, um, it has been deemed unnecessary. And now the Jim Crow concept is not only used one, it's not only just used or was used against African Americans, but now it's used against all men in this society. And so to take that father, because now it don't matter who you are. You know what I mean? A woman's going to leave you if you're not doing certain things and depend on something else. And that son or that daughter lacks so much information through fatherhood. And my own
Right.
personal example was I remember my daughter was in the 10th grade. She was a sophomore and she was having problems with math. Okay. And just by me talking to my daughter, not even going through the math problems, but on the phone talking to her, I was able to build her confidence enough within a 46-week period where she was able to take that grade from a 65 to a 95. Right. So, and I thought it was about the actual math problems, but it was the confidence I was building inside of her. You know what I mean? That actually helped her become a better person. So fatherhood is essential. Is it weakening in American society? Absolutely, absolutely. They were pushing certain agendas, 6 months, a year or two ago through the transformation of, transgenderism and certain things that, the system was pushing. And so when that father's not there to hold you accountable and say, son, I know you're strong. I know you're almighty. I know you're healthy. I know you're a genius. I know you're this. I know you're that. And to uplift that child, man, it's going to let that child, the world's going to take over him. The world's going to take over him. So fatherhood is essential to the livelihood of a family and to this society. And honestly, it's almost been proven. It's been proven.
You're right.
Right.
It's important to be a
Yeah, I like
strong
that.
father figure, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, to everybody. I mean,
For
the gym I
everyone.
go to, the gym my wife and I go to, we get to bring our kids, and there's a single mom in there the other day, and she asked if her son could play with our son, and he was 2, my son is 3, and so we were at the end of the workout. They have a what do you call it, air hockey table, and my kids love playing that. If they do good at the gym, we let them play air hockey at the gym. And so this little boy's 2 years old, and so the mother initially tried to show him how to use, and how to hit the I don't know what the fuck you want to call it, but she was
The
teaching him how
puck.
to the puck, teach him how to
puck.
hit the puck,
Yeah.
and he just wasn't following by what she was in. And so I got his hand, placed it on the handle, hit the puck for him with using his hand, and within moments he realized how to do that. So
Right.
and what came to me was it takes a village to raise a child, which is an old African proverb. It takes a village. So each one of us on here become that village to support that child in his everyday life. And you'd be surprised that staple of what we do goes a long way in that child's, growing up. So it's definitely essential, brothers. It's definitely essential.
Mm. Yeah, when they took away, that's funny. You were saying about the Jim Crow thing when they said, it makes sense because they do give housing to a single mother.
Hmm.
They say, hey, we'll give you this housing for
Hmm.
18 years.
Yes.
If you but the thing is, you can't have your husband there. You know what I'm saying? If you have your husband there, then we can't help you.
Right.
So that cripples a
Hmm.
lot of families, because I mean now the instead of helping
Hmm.
the whole family,
Yes.
they like, hey, you know what, we'll help you as long as your man is not in the house, and you got a whole
Yes.
bunch of people that are have their boyfriends legally living with them, but the
Hmm.
government is paying for them to stay there.
Hmm.
Instead of saying, hey, you know what, Corey, we're going to help you and your family for 4 years or for 3 years or for 18 months. We'll help
Right.
you get you a
Right.
trade or something. Get you a trade,
Right.
but
Right.
instead there's no remedy. There's
Yeah.
no remedy for what they have done to the families. So
That's facts,
yeah,
bro.
that's a
That's
very
facts.
interesting fact.
Yeah. That's child support. That's child support by itself.
Yeah,
If when you start
yeah,
reading to
true.
child support, they basically turn your child into a property. And so through that property, the government reaches back out to the father and says, hey, now that you've thrown your son on us, we're going to now make
Right,
you pay for the very thing that
right,
we're giving them. So the food
right.
stamps, the housing, everything, you are
Yep,
actually
yep.
you're paying for that every single month.
Yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean? So, bro,
yes.
you hit it on the nail with that one. You hit on the nail with that
Yeah,
one.
and you're paying taxes, and you're paying taxes. You're paying
Yes.
taxes, child
Hmm.
support. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And
yeah.
don't have more than 1 or 2 kids because you're not gonna have a check. Your check is gone.
Nope. They take half of your check
They
sometimes.
sure
Half of
do.
your check.
They sure
Like
do.
how can you suffice another living with another family if
Yeah.
they're taking half of your check? I'm just saying, that's the whole
That's
thing.
facts,
But
That's
bro.
true.
yes,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
There's always
Just the
going to
vicious
be
cycle.
a masculine influence on a female. It just depends on who that masculine influence is going to be.
True.
Is it going to be you,
right,
and you're going to stand
Hmm.
up and be a man, or you're going to allow it to be the government, to be the daddy, to be the masculine
right,
figure? And that's
Yeah.
what happens to a lot of women is they're looking for safety and security on a tip. I mean that's just basic. That's what women are
right,
looking for: safety and security.
Yeah.
And if you can't provide that as a man, they're going to get it from the government, and the government offers that. And in fact, I would say they want that to happen to
Yeah.
keep us weak.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
then the man gets
I
stripped
agree.
away of his femininity, and for most men, that's their purpose. I know for me,
That's
that's
right.
where I draw my power from is
Right.
from my wife.
Yes.
So if I don't have her, I'm not going to be able to accomplish the things that I want in life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Tis a vicious cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. Vicious cycle.
Those were great questions, Kings. I mean, that was a good one right there, Kings.
Yes, sir.
That was a good one. All of it. King Mackey, you got that spotlight,
sir.
King?
I got that spotlight. Give me a moment. Let me go
Spotlight.
to it here. This is going to be a good one, brothers. This is going to be a good one. All right. My spotlight tonight is the real Top Guns, the Tuskegee Airmen Champions. Check this out, fellas. When people think of elite fighter pilots, movies like Top Gun often come to mind. High-speed jets, fearless aviators, and unmatched precision. But long before Hollywood dramatized aerial existence, a group of African-American pilots proved they were just as skilled, if not better, under combat conditions. This spotlight is on four extraordinary men: Alvy Temple, Harry Stewart Jr., James Harvey III, and alternate Halbert Alexander, members of the legendary Tuskegee Airmen. In 1949, at a time when segregation still gripped the United States military, these men competed in the U.S. Air Force first ever Top Gun style aerial gunner competition, officially known as the U.S. Air Force Fighter Gunner Meet, facing off against the best white fighter squadrons in the country. Their team from the 332nd Fighter Group rose above adversary, rose above racism and doubt. Flying the powerful B 47 Thunderbolt, they demonstrated unmatched precision, discipline, and teamwork. Against all expectations, they didn't just compete, they won, outperforming every squadron and providing and proved beyond question that excellent has no color. Yet, despite their historic victory, their achievement was buried and largely ignored for decades. A reflection of racial climate of the time, it wasn't until years later that their triumph was finally recognized, restoring their rightful place in history. This story isn't just about aviation, it's about resilience, breaking barriers, and redefining what it means to be elite. These men were the real Top Guns the little before the title ever became popular to culture. So the spotlight today is the Top Gun Tuskegee Airmen. Thank you for your service.
Sir,
Right on.
thank
For
you
your
for your
service.
service.
Very good
That's a
spotlight.
great
Very good.
spotlight. Yeah. Also, a great movie too. The Tuskegee Airmen. It's a great
Yeah.
movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
Really, really good. It's a great spotlight. But hey, great podcast tonight, Kings. We encourage you, for all those who listen, your likes, your thoughts, your suggestions, your questions, your opinions, anything that you may have. We would like to hear that. More than welcome for your input. If you can't watch the video, you can certainly plug us in. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Podcast Addicts, Riverside FM. So there's several places that you can reach out to us and listen to us as well. Always, I'm grateful, and it's always good to fellowship with you, kids.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Loved it.
All right.
All right.
Until next time, Sunday Night's Podcast Book Club. Please join us for that. Ancient Africa. 15. We'll be delving more into that this Sunday at 9:15. Sunday Book Podcast.
Absolutely.
You gentlemen have had great rest of your evening.
All right. Love you, Kings.
Love
See y'all
y'all.
next
Lady
time.
Kings. All
Rock
right.
and roll.
Love you